Oh, hi! Well, Bini owned Coachella. So, Bini just finished their week 2 performance for Coachella. And yes, for people who are not that familiar, well, I wasn't that familiar either. Coachella is actually a 2 weekend event. And Bini once again performed in the Mojave stage for Coachella week 2. Now, of course, it's going to be the initial performance. Of course, is going to really be the main barometer or the main or how they would really see how well they performed and they crushed it. In my previous video, I was talking about how they crushed, how they really showed their stuff in their first weekend, and basically the second weekend could actually either make or break them. How? Well, it could make them by doing another performance, and it could break them if they mess up. But then again, they have generated enough buzz to really get themselves noticed. Because actually, in terms of the views, they're only ranked second next to Justin Bieber. So, people took notice. And this time, in the second week, in week 2 of Coachella, where they performed again, this time they owned it. Now, why do I say that? Why do I use the term owned? Well, first off, there's some differences. Okay, there were differences in the performance from week 1 to week 2. The first was in the opening song. So basically, they performed more or less. No, they actually performed most of the songs from the first week, but they changed the first song. And that song was Strings. So they replaced Shaggy D with Strings, which for me is a better choice because Shaggy D was a little bit more, I would say, it's a little bit, well, it's definitely more fun. It's a song about Filipino traditional games. But then again, coming into week 2 where they're already able to generate the buzz, they should come in strong, and they did with Strings. Technically speaking, that's the only thing that they changed in terms of their set list, because they did a total of 10 songs. Since I was able to see the streams for both, so basically for this set they did Strings, Zero Pressure, Out of My Head, Carrera, Salamin, Blink Twice, Cherry on Top. They did a quick temp check, I would say, a vibe check. They called it, Mika called it a vibe check. They did Blush, Bikini, and ended again with Pantropico. So that's basically the same setup minus the first song with the strings, which is perfect since they've already generated the buzz. Next, their look. Okay, in their first week, they were into what I was saying, that more into the textured look. The suits, what they were wearing were like woven in. Now this time it's more of a, I would say it's more of a shiny, futuristic Barbarella look. If you're familiar with the old Jane Fonda movie, The Barbarella, I'll find the link. I'll also put it in the links below. It's very shiny, very robot-y, if anything. Which I would say, iffy for me since we are promoting Filipino culture, but then again, they made up for it by doing something else. So, personally, in terms of the aesthetic, I actually like it more because it looked more symmetrical than some of the some of the suits, some of the outfits they wore in week 1. Like, if I remember correctly, Stacy had something with the different colors and different textures that makes it look very asymmetrical. Personally, I'm not a fan of that, and I actually like their outfits here. It doesn't show much Filipino culture about it, but then again, it's perfect for the venue and perfect for the event. The besties also had a wardrobe change, of course, to match the girls. Now they came in the first. Of course, I'll be referencing from the previous week, from this week. Now, last week they came in with the salakot, which is the traditional hat. This time they came in with shades, which they took off anyway. They also did the wardrobe change with the suit change. It actually looks more, I would say looks more futuristic, which they also took off anyway by Zero Pressure. So I would say that it looked better. Now their styling actually changed too. Colette, first off would be Colette. Colette had her hair tied up. This time it was already down. She actually looks a little bigger this time. She looks more, I would say it's better because she looked more, she looked bigger. Okay, she looked bigger. Knowing that, of course, our Colette is pretty tiny. Also, one thing that I'd also say that is a good job by the styling team is Stacy. Yes, like I said, Stacy looked good. Her pink hair matched the stage and matched the event. But last week's pink hair was just straight. So it kind of looked, honestly, it kind of looked flat. And this time it was now curled up or more into a wave. It also made her look not bigger, but in a sense, it gave more body to her look. So, good job. Now, we had Mika had her hair tied up. So, I'm also a bit, because in the first week, she had her hair down. And this time, I guess to change it up. And also, it matched her outfit better. Her hair being tied up. And lastly, I'd like to say Gwen. Oh, Gwen. Gwen had her hair down in the first week, then she changed it up this time. But I love the fact that she was in a higher pony with the curls in the tip, or I don't know what you call it, but well, I don't have hair enough to ponytail. But then again, I love what she did to her hair. She's stunning as it is. She just made it better. And one thing that is also different now that I'm sure people saw who watched week 1 from week 2 is one thing: confidence. They definitely were more confident now. And second is that they were so confident that they were able to push and they were able to really showcase the culture. Last week they introduced themselves normally. Hello, I'm Maloy, I'm Stacy. This week it had more presence. It had more they really asserted themselves, and they also introduced themselves in their I would say in their region tongue. I would say that's the best thing I would say, because like Maloy said alae, which is from the central region, basically Batangas. It's okay for people who are not from the Philippines. The Philippines has different regions, and we do have different dialects in some of those regions. And Bini did theirs. Each of them did their own. All right. So now you might notice that maybe Maloy and Joanna said the same thing but said it in a different way. Yes, because the Filipino language, the national language Filipino actually came from Tagalog, which is the region where Maloy came from, right? So we got Ilocano, which is from the northern regions, Stacy speaking it. We've got Colette and Aya speaking Bisaya, which is from the southern region. Then you've got Gwen also, and then we ended up with Mika. What's up? It's Mika. Okay, that's because she's from Metro Manila. Actually, fun fact, Mika and I share the same I guess home city. So yeah, we'd speak that way. But then again, that's one thing. That's one, okay? Second is that they were talking about that they were able to share their Filipino music, and they kept saying that all the way towards the end, which got me all emotional, getting me emotional again. So it is something that they were able to bring on the second week, now that they were able to get the buzz. And performance, of course, there's no difference. They killed it, all right? They crushed it. But now they owned it, because now as usual, the stream has already ended, so I will be relying on clips and fan cams again. But when they were showing the venue, it was, last week's venue was full. this week's venue was packed. It was like literally sardines, like really packed. Okay, definitely a lot more people came to watch, and you really saw, and you can really see people with the Philippine flags, again with the light sticks, and all with the support. Now, with regards to the performance, it's basically this. It's not, well, it's basically the same in terms of intensity, the dance. But one thing that I'd like to say is that the blending was there. I love the blending. Well, they did it in the first week. They did it a lot more. They did more ad libs. You can really. One thing I'll tell you with Maloy, I know the cameraman has it in for Maloy, and Mr. or Miss Cameraman or camera person, thank you for giving more time, or at least spreading the exposure to the rest of the girls, because I know you like Maloy, and Maloy is just perfect for these kinds of events, when with her crowd interaction, making people sing, making people interact. But then again, our MVPs in terms of the features were definitely Mika, as last week. Mika, Gwen and Aya had a lot of footage. I guess the guy really made up, and you can really see Gwen's different styling. Great. And of course the other girls, you've of course Maloy, getting her usual screen time. But then again, good job to the camera person in spreading out the focus, because you've got Jo, you got to see Stacy more, you've got to see Jo, you've got to see Colette a lot more, Sheena. So I would say that the footage, although a lot more footage was moving back to really see the performance, when they go focus, at least it's more balanced this time. So good job. Also, with regards to the performance and the dance, it's actually basically the same. They did the break, they did the A, and they ended with Pantropico. So again, they did the last performance, they did the dance break, and then they ended with Jo and Colette doing that going over thing again. So it's hard to explain it, but like the guy crouched down, one of the besties crouched down, then they stepped over him, and then they just crossed over, and I still find it amazing. That's like one of the highlights for me, even if it's just an ending pose. But one thing that they did in the end was feature the Philippine flag when they ended. Last week it was just Bini, but in the end it was the Philippine flag. And how they said that it's in Filipino, mabuhay ang musikang Pilipino, or long live Philippine music, or mabuhay ang OPM, or original Filipino music, or original Philippine music. Okay, I don't know why it's, if there's any artificial, but with AI there is now. But and also Colette's message, wherein she said that thank you for, it's gonna be something that they'll cherish, and thank you that they get to share Philippine music to the rest, and the crowd showed it. I would say it's not just a matter of pride that finally, I said this last week. I'll post my video last week. Like I said last week, they've been saying that Filipinos have been good performers, good singers, and now we were able to literally show it in the big stage. Okay, so and we're getting noticed. Filipinos are getting noticed, and I hope that with Bini getting getting noticed, they get to have more events. They get to be in more events, not just in North America but all over the world. And of course, Blooms will be there to support them. Also, this could be a gateway for other Southeast Asian acts as well, because there will be a lot of great Southeast Asian acts. to also get into that stage that Bini entered. You know, Bini was the trailblazer. Bini stepped into the stage. They didn't just step into the stage, they owned that stage. So that's something that I think it's also the next significance for it. It's not just a Philippine thing right now. It's now a Southeast Asian thing because you've got K-pop. You know how many times that K-pop has already been performing in Coachella, and this is the first time that we've got a Southeast Asian act coming in, and this could be the next step because we've got a lot of stuff here in Southeast Asia that is definitely good for events like this. And Bini, you just showed that all your years of training, you guys were so stable, your movements so synchronized. You knew how to ad lib, you knew how to play the crowd, you knew how to rock the stage, and you owned this. You owned this. This is your achievement. We the Filipinos, and I guess the rest of Southeast Asia, is there behind you. And this stage, Coachella 2026, is Binichella 2026.